Welcome to Mitel MyCloud, how to build a customer in Oria Portal version 5.0, presented by MyCloud Services Operations. Narration by Michela Zavada, Cloud Implementation Advisor.
Welcome to the Oria Portal training video on how to build a customer. As you can see, it looks very different. One thing you'll notice right away is that it has a section for bookmarks each customer can add here on their own. There is additionally embedded tutorial videos and a help section over on the right. Let's look at some of the features in Oria. You have call rerouting destinations. By default, there's no call rerouting and voicemail, but you can add something like a cell phone number for your on-call person if a call group has to be routed here after hours. This is going to include the prefix for the platform, and you can save it just like that. You can also create speed dials. And you will enter the number to dial and then the number that will be called. Make sure you enter the prefix again of 81. User creation is very different in this version of Oria. You'll go to users over on the left and you'll click add new. Let's start by adding an admin user. You will include their email address. You can enter a home phone number and a mobile phone number for this user. And you can select that this is an admin user. And then you can select whether it's an admin advanced or an admin basic and save it. And that's how you create admin users. Note that tasks are asynchronous in this version of Oria. So they will be pending, and when it's complete, you will get a green pop-up message saying it is successful. Let's add an actual user that will have a device. Bruce was our admin. He also has a phone. You will need to make sure that your username is different than any other username already in existence. So Bruce has his admin user and then his normal phone user. And you will enter his home phone and or mobile phone again. These will be used for twinning. Notice the new setting here, create a new user from existing user. This allows you to easily create multiple users that look very similar to each other and save yourself some time. And then you'll select the service plan. We'll do the Advanced Hot Desk Mobile SIP for a MyCollab user. Notice as you complete tasks across the top, they go from gray to blue to show that they have been completed. Service programming has some of the details. You will select the site where this person resides. You will then select their direct inward dial number. The extension is going to be set to the last 4 of the DID by default, but you can change this to match whatever numbering scheme you have set. You have your dialing privileges and whether or not you hide the caller ID and the caller ID that you're going to display. You either have the CPN that you set for the account or you have the direct DID. You have the send voicemail to email option. Then you have the phone details. On a non-hot desking user, you'll be able to select the phone model as well as the MAC address for the phone. For hot desk phones, this is going to be unnecessary. You will also have the information for your SIP. You will have your SIP username and emergency response location for your SIP device. Please note that the SIP password is either going to be generated and mailed out with your welcome email or set to the default that you selected. As you can see, the context-sensitive help over on the right-hand side gives you helps topics based on what you were doing on screen at the time. The Advanced tab has information on twinning. You can enable simultaneous ring. You'll enter your prefix of 81, as well as select which phone you're twinning, whether the home or the mobile number that you previously entered. You also have call handling rules, so you can change at night that all calls are forwarded to your call rerouting destination for your on-call person, or perhaps they go straight to voicemail at night instead of ringing first. You also have the alternate night routing. This can be used to set up alternate routing for at night, such as for holidays. And then you'll save your user. Shared devices are your hot desk phones. See, we have that user is pending. That's the asynchronous task right there. So shared devices are your hot desk users. So you can add a new device. You'll enter the extension name. The extension number is going to start with the lowest number available, but you can change that to match your numbering scheme. And our user just finished creating. You're going to select the phone type. And you're going to enter the MAC address and save. You also have general voicemail boxes handled in a very different way. You'll go to the company and go to advanced, and then go to general mailbox. You will add a new general mailbox. It'll select a mailbox number for you, and you can set the name of your general voicemail box. You're going to set the passcode. You can send voicemail to email and provide an email address for those emails to go to. You can upload a mailbox greeting, or you can record it like normal. Here in the monitor list, you can add users that will have a button placed on their phone that's a message waiting indicator for this mailbox. You will not have to program this button on your own. It will be added for you when you add users to the monitor list. And then you'll save your voicemail. Let's talk about how groups are created in the new Oria. You'll use the Groups button over on the left. Let's start with adding your basic E911 group. You're going to select the ring type, a ring group type. Group programming, you're going to select the E911 response number that you were given. You're going to change your extension number to the 6911. Group members, you're going to add all of your group members. You can search for them here, or you can click Add All Users to remove all users. It's going to ring all. You don't have an overflow point for your E911 ring group, but you can set the timers, and you'll save. And this also is a pending action that you'll get notification once it's completed successfully. Then you have the main type of group for your main number. Instead of using hunt groups now, we use ring groups. You're going to select, you can select a DID directly for the ring group, but there is a better option in this version of Oria, and that's in the call flows, which we'll talk about once we finish the creating this ring group. So you'll not select a direct number. You'll select an extension number or use the default. You can select the option for a keyline ring group by toggling this option over here. Will the group member handle calls on one or more additional key lines? You can add members to the group the same way you did before. What will happen is on the next page, for keyline appearances, the users that you added to the group will show the keyline options. You can select the number of keylines to have. You can select the ring type for each keyline and what button number the key will be programmed on for you. And you can do this for each separate line. And once you do that, it will build those key lines for you on each of those users' phones, so you don't have to program them yourself. You can select the destination for calls to terminate in here, or you can do that in the call flow. I would recommend doing it in the call flow. You can set the timers here as well. Once you have your ring group created, we can go on to the call flows. So we're going to give it just a minute to complete creating that ring group. And now that call group has been successfully created, let's talk about call flows. They'll be accessed on the left-hand side under the call flows. We will add a new call flow. We'll call this main number. You can enter a description. And click done. It's going to give you a graphical image of how the call flow will go. You'll select the location for this call flow. Then you will assign the DIDs for this call flow. Instead of assigning them directly to the call group, you assign them in the call flow here. Then you can talk about whether there is a different call flow during the day and at night. We'll say that there is. You can set whether the call flow is based on business hours, and if so, you can add a user who will have day and night routing buttons on their phones, and these will be auto-programmed for you. So let's talk about what happens during the day. We'll have it go to a group. And then we'll use the main number group we just created. And then how long do we want it to ring before overflowing? This timer is set to 20 seconds by default, but you can change it based on customer needs. And then what happens after it overflows? We're going to select that it goes to a general mailbox, and we're going to select the general mailbox that we created. And then you can add additional users to monitor that mailbox here as well. And then you can click and drag to see the whole call flow, and you can use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You can also use the print icon up at the top to save a picture of the call flow. So let's talk about what happens at night for this call flow. Let's have it go to the auto attendant. You'll select which auto attendant to use and save. If you have a lot of groups that cascade through each other, you can imagine that this chart gets pretty lengthy and detailed depending on what you want it to do. Once it's complete with building, you will save it up here. And save. And let's talk about the auto attendant now. You have your main auto attendant. And this also has a call flow similar to the call flows where it's graphically represented. Let's talk about what happens when you hit the auto attendant. So we can have option 1, either dial a group, dial a number, dial a user, leave a message, create a submenu, or play a message. Let's have it leave a message. And we'll go to a general mailbox, and we'll use that same general mailbox. And you can add additional people to monitor that mailbox. And you can upload, or you can record it over the phone. Let's make option 2 a submenu. And you can attach a direct number to this submenu so it can be reached directly. When you do select a direct number, you can add the DID. And then you can either upload a greeting if you already have it recorded, or record a greeting. And when you have the recorded greeting, it gives you the options to dial to record a greeting from a test phone on the system. And then you have your submenu that you build the same way. You can also have it dial a group and transfer to a specific group that you've created. And you can upload a greeting here as well. This would be something like, you are now being transferred to blank. You can also have it directly dial a user. And you can upload that greeting, you are now being transferred to Bruce, or whatever user you selected. And that's how you create the auto attendant. Now let's look at all those buttons that we don't have to program that Oria does for us. So we're going to go to Users. Let's take a look at Bruce. And we're going to scroll over to Phone Keys. And look, we have main number 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are our key lines. They were created for us. And you can see that they're single lines because they're not on anyone else's phones yet. If you add them to another set of phones, they'll be key lines, and they have the key line number automatically generated for you. We also have the day and night for pound pound 20 and pound pound 21 that change the phone from day mode and night mode. And we also have the message waiting indicator key for the general mailbox that we created that was done for us. All these buttons you normally would have had to program yourself, but Oria does it for us, saving us time. And that is a wrap on how to build a basic customer in the new Oria.